Okay, I think we're going to see another quantum jump when Ripple announces that XRP is going to be backed by gold. None of this is going to happen without precious metal backing down the road.
Well, hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And now it is time for part two of our interview with Jim Willie, where he talks about our monetary system, gets into gold and silver, XRP, and a whole lot more. So, with that said, here we go. You're saying you do feel the BRICS were a driving force, and also that
Big.
Japan is, how would you phrase what exactly you think
They
they're doing
act
and to what
more
degree
like a
you're
BRICS
speculating
nation.
versus fact?
They act more like a BRICS nation in Japan than any of the BRICS nations. They're de-dollarizing right now, and they're going to be going to XRP payments. Let me say something about UAE. It's a little bit disturbing. I believe the
Wait,
Rothschilds.
Jim, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be interrupting you a lot tonight, although I know you asked for some more questions to hop in there and
No, I I
um
I, I like you to participate more and me less. That's all. My
uh
voice gets
hey,
tired.
sure. Well, I would love for you to comment on XRP. I get messages from several people in our audience who follow it closely, and obviously we did have that announcement from the Trump team yesterday, so perhaps you could touch on that.
Absolutely. Um, okay, I'm going to say something that's very high level and shake things up a bit. The dollar standard is going away. Now, by that I mean the global reserve standard of the treasury bond is going away. And what I think is going to replace it is corporate stable coins that create numerous large bodies of liquidity, and I call it the seven C's. You know, we know what the seven C's are: Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, whatever, all the oceans. The corporate stable coins are going to replace the dollar as the currency reserve in a sense of like central bank holdings, corporate holdings, insurance company, pension company holdings. We're going to be going to corporate stable coins. Now, on the other side of the global standard, you have payment standards. And the treasury bill is going to go away. And I think it's going to yield to a group. And Trump is calling it the strategic reserve. Well, you know, I've got a different viewpoint of this. He's naming the trade payment standards: XRP, Solana, Cardano, and add H bar perhaps to that. And why? Because they're so inexpensive and they're so fast. I did a January little cost effectiveness analysis. It was very primitive. Um, and it was 650,000 times faster, cheaper with XRP compared to Swift. Not 650 times, 650,000 times faster, cheaper. Okay, the big banks are going to climb onto that because it's cheaper and it's faster. They're going to have cost savings. What are they going to do? Well, Bank of America and Bank of New York Mellon and a few other big banks have already said they're going to be transferring their assets under management, and it's tens and 20, 30 trillion. Chris, they're going to convert it into stable coin, and the leader is Ripple RLUSD stablecoin. And once it's on the Ripple stablecoin ocean, it's floating in that ocean like the seven seas of the earth. They're going to be like seven corporate entities, and I think Ripple and XRP are going to get the lion's share. I think they're going to get the majority. Okay, once you're in the RLUSD stablecoin, Ripple Lab US dollar, that's going to replace the treasury bond for global reserve standard, I think, along with the other corporate stable coins. Once they're in the Ripple stablecoin ocean, you're going to be using XRP to do your transfers. After we get some clarity in the next month or two, we're going to see Ripple announce how they're going to be expanding from the bank sector. Where in my February reports, Chris, I'm not making this up. I got about 30 lines and it's about 180 or 200 banks that are all now adopting XRP. 200 banks. In December, it was 6. In January, it was 30. Now it's almost 200. Is that exponential growth or what? And I noticed something. About a quarter of the banks, maybe a little bit fewer, they were Japanese. Okay? Now the Japanese have a law, well, regulatory, dictate. It said that in this year, all Japanese banks must be XRP compliant. They're going to be getting involved in the the Ripple RLUSD stablecoin. You watch Toyota, they're going to make an announcement in the next few months. They're going to make a big commitment, and they're going to put in $500 billion of whatever, and they're going to put it into the stablecoin of Ripple, and that'll be a guarantee, pretty much a guarantee that they'll be using XRP for trade payment. Do you know of any people who have Toyotas in their garages, of Nissan in their garages, of Honda in their garages, of Hitachi computers or Nikon cameras? Okay, the Japanese are going to be moving whole hog into XRP. The key is stable coins. Stable coins, I keep repeating, it's going to create 7 corporate oceans for the global liquidity. Once they got global liquidity, then they're going to be ready to do transfers. And I think we're going to see a quantum jump when Ripple announces that they're going to be expanding beyond banks to corporate structures. And every big corporation, every big multinational has a big finance department. Not a bank, but it's kind of like a bank within a corporation. Okay, I think we're going to see another quantum jump when Ripple announces that XRP is going to be backed by gold. None of this is going to happen without precious metal backing down the road. They're leaving that out of the equation right now because they got enough bullshit going on with the Security and Exchange Commission. I got word from my best minds, my best colleagues with, the thinkers in crypto land. They said the same thing. The SEC appeal was for a failed court case and a failed appeal. So they got a second planned failed appeal to drive out, I call them the ninnies. Oh, I don't know what's going to go on. I don't think I'm with this SEC again. Okay, they sold. Okay, bye-bye. You can buy back when it's 5. It's like 2.5 now. You can come back when it's 5 and 6, and then you can sell again when you display your ninny characteristics. Okay. This thing, I think XRP is going to go to like 10 to 20 by the end of the year. We're going to see quantum jumps from big important events. XRP is not going to be the only winner. There are going to be other winners. XLM is going to be really important for business to business within countries, and then it'll leak across national lines some. XRP, they're trying to drive, the banks were buying up XRP when the ninnies were selling in the last month. I told like 20 different clients, don't worry, it's going back and testing too. Who gives a crap? Who gives a crap? Got up to 3, now testing 2. Who gives a crap? Started at 50 cents. What's your problem? Oh, if it finds support at 2, you've got only a 4-fold gain since December and November. Get over yourself. Okay, we're going to have other winners, Chris. I think Cardano with its, I don't know a lot about Cardano, but every time I read Cardano, I hear the best security characteristics of crypto. Elon Musk is like dumping on Bitcoin. He's trying to convince. Did you notice in the crypto announcement by Trump, Bitcoin was an afterthought? Oh yeah, and Bitcoin would be involved. Oh, it wasn't in the first 50% of his announcement. So he's moving away from Bitcoin because it doesn't have any IP, intellectual property. It doesn't have contracts. It doesn't have partnerships. It doesn't have adoption. Oh, XRP's big advantage is on-demand liquidity. On-demand liquidity. It means you can never choke on something that's too big coming down the line. I'm putting it in, layman's parlance. These are exciting times, Chris. And, for people who say, oh, I don't like crypto, there's nothing behind it. Those are your stupidest guy in the room. That's your stupidest guy. There's nothing behind it. Right. I don't know what intellectual property is. I don't know what partnerships are. I don't know what the new digital architecture is all about. There's nothing behind it. Okay. You're the dumbest guy in the room. Go to the back of the class and you can buy into it when it's 10 times higher. And you realize how stupid you've been and how stubborn you've been. Okay. This is going to be
Jim,
really
I just
exciting.
appreciate you even had a new facial gesture to demonstrate visually how you feel about people that are
I'm an
like
Indian. I
that.
don't know anything about intellectual property. I don't know what corporate partnerships are all about. Okay. These are your dumbest people in the room. Don't listen to them. Okay. XRP is like a second chance at Bitcoin that went up. It didn't go up just 1,000-fold. I remember when it was 100. Oh no, that's 1,000. What am I saying? It went up 1,000-fold. I think XRP is going to go up several hundredfold from its 50 cent base. I mean, I know it went up to 2 and went right back down. That's from the SEC frivolous bullshit. Okay, Trump is about ready to announce, I believe, an SEC chairman, and push aside. We know what's really going to happen. The big banks are going to say, "All right, Donald, we've got a good batch of XRP now. You can let it run." We scared out the ninnies. The ninnies sold between 3.2 and 2.0. We got rid of the ninnies. Those dumbasses who didn't figure out that we have an appeal on a failed case with a failed appeal. Right. When I heard about the failed case and a failed appeal and a new appeal, I thought, wow, how obvious is that? What I'd like to see Trump do now is say, we're going to end the lawfare prosecution against Reggie Middleton. It was last summer. I had a little item in my newsletter for helping Reggie Middleton because they're trying to steal his intellectual property. They need to stop what they're doing with Reggie Middleton and enable him to become a major leader and intellectual property holder for the next generation, because Wall Street is trying to steal his IP. And I think we need some vengeful legal reaction to restore Reggie. Because, we got an entire revolution in finance coming. You better be on board with it. It's kind of like, I heard this analogy, Chris, and it's really quite strange. Well, I don't like those automobiles. They're smoky and they're loud. And, if you have an accident, all that glass will cut your face. So I'm sticking with my horse and buggy. How'd that work out? Well, there'll still be a market for buggy whips. Don't worry. No, there'll be a market for tires, cars. Okay, you get with the change. I don't like email. I think it's really weird. That's my dad, okay? That's my father. My father, a brilliant literature guy and who's who. I don't like email, Jim. I don't know how to get on that, and I'd rather use the U.S. Postal Service. That's reliable. Okay, Dad, I get it. I get it, Dad. One of the most interesting screw ups that my dad had was he would say, Jim, I had an accident. I was working on chapter 4 of my book, and I had an accident. I deleted something by accident, and I saved my document, and now it's gone. I said, why'd you save your error? He said, I didn't want to lose my whole document. So he messed up on chapter 3. He realized that 2 pages out of the 5 are gone because he screwed up with his fingers, fat finger, and he saved his error because he didn't want to lose his book. I said, Dad, it's like pulling a book off the shelf and putting it into your computer, but it's still on your shelf. And he said, I don't think I'll ever get that. Okay, that's your dinosaur. One time he said to me, Jim, I know you had a problem with that client. I can mail him if you like. He's in the state of Oregon. I can mail him. I said, Dad, it's okay. I emailed him. Okay, you get with the technology transfer or you get left behind. I think what's going to happen, Chris, is a lot of people are going to get caught in the old technology and they're going to realize that their life savings and their pensions are old school and they took a 30% hit. And there's going to be like this other crowd, like a quarter of us, and they say, I realized a 20-fold gain. I realized a 200-fold gain because I got into XRP. It's going to be really interesting. I have an entire chapter on XRP every month now for the newsletter. I started in November having an XRP chapter. And this month for February, I mean, it's February's over, but for the February report, that's where I got the 3 paragraphs of banks that have adopted XRP. This is going to be very exciting, and there's so much more to say about it. And that's why I think it's a good idea to, go to golden-jackass.com and sign up for the newsletter, support my work, and start off reading the gold chapter for the 47 reasons for the 47th president. And that doesn't show the report, but that shows in yellow the button for signing up. And notice in the upper left, it says February report is posted. And I got a special report for Trump's first month. The lightning quick activity in the first month. And, we haven't even talked about U.S. aid, Chris. I don't think we talked last month. I think last time it was December. I'm not sure. I knew a U.S. aid worker. I knew him. He was a lifelong friend. And here's the funny part about U.S. aid. A lot of people who work in U.S. aid don't know what they do. My friend Peter, okay, just quickly, Chris, when I was 4 years old, my next door neighbor was Peter. Peter and Bobby, and we caught butterflies together. I was 4 and 5 and he was 4 and Bobby was 3, and we were running around like knuckleheads and lunatics catching butterflies with our self-made nets. And other times we played baseball, but Peter wasn't good at baseball. I was good. He would try to catch my fly balls, and I broke my dad's bathroom window once. He got very upset. Anyway, Peter went on to Yale University and was quite a spectacular student, and he did not like the law profession. He stumbled in a law firm, and he said, Jim, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to check a number of weird opportunities out there because there are a lot. What did he do? He got recruited by the CIA and he got hired by USAID because he was fluent in Russian at Yale University. And I was there when he was a junior. I was doing my thing for a doctoral program, and I only lasted 1 quarter. It's a long story. And I kept up with him. And I asked him, what are you doing for USAID, Pete? He said, well, first of all, I'm freezing my ass off in Moscow, but I go to the nightclubs and I have a good time, so I don't lose my mind. But I have escorted Senator John McCain on 5 occasions. I said, what do? You have him meet with people who interfere with press reporting and do propaganda bull crap? And he said, oh, I don't know what they do. I just introduced him to the Russian. Okay, the point is, Chris, A lot of U.S. aid people don't know what they were doing. It was the upper level. It was the management, not the workers. And I was happy when I heard that they fired the management. They started at the top. They probably fired a lot of, worker bees, and that's fine. Well, Peter resigned. He resigned 7 or 8 years ago after 12, 13 years in Moscow. And I asked, what are you going to do, Pete? He said, I'm moving to Lithuania. It's really nice there. The climate's better. They have a winter, but it's mild, and they speak Russian. And the ladies are really nice in Lithuania. They're not fat hogs like they are in the United States. I said, yeah, true that.
Well, Jim,
Okay.
or just if I could, because you mentioned a couple things that actually ties back to something you said you would touch on earlier in terms of where this leaves the U.S. and on Tuesday, March 4th, no less. And is this headed towards a restructure, in your opinion, in the
Yes, we're
Trump
going to have a restructure.
administration?
We're going to have a reformation, a restructure, and kind of an industrial revolution. We're going to get back into making things, manufacturing in the United States. We don't even manufacture housewares. We don't manufacture television sets. We barely make iPhones. Okay. We have imports of almost everything that's important in our society. So we're going to get back to manufacturing. We're going to introduce AI. And it's not just building robots and having really smart machines. It's all the technology behind it. It's super chips. We have to make data centers. We have to have more electricity power centers. We have to have some innovative sources of energy for electricity generation. And Elon Musk is going to be behind that. And Tesla Engineering, not Tesla Corp. Nikola Tesla Engineering is going to be involved in new energy production. It's going to be Tesla Clip. We're going to have revolution, Chris, at the household level in neighborhoods. You're going to have a Tesla Clip for an apartment building. You're going to have a Tesla Clip, a bank of Tesla Clips for powering 30 or 40 homes in a neighborhood, in a condominium, what do you call it, subdivision. We're going to get back to manufacturing. We're going to we're going to eliminate sabotage of the U.S. economy and work toward constructive U.S. economy ventures. We're going to have foreign direct investment with the money coming back. And we're going to have a risk of inflation when those treasury bonds come back, unless they're for productive capacity. And we're going to have a lot of productive capacity. We're going to have incentive for productive capacity. And we're going to be on a gold standard that's going to result in very little in price inflation. What we have a challenge for now is we need to retrain our young people, because they don't know shit from Shinola about math and science. They couldn't do an integral to save their soul. They couldn't do a closed circuit diagram to save their soul.
Jim,
They
maybe
know video
we'll
games, they know cocaine, and they know welfare from the government because they're screwed up in their head. We need to train our young people because we're in trouble.
Well, yeah, maybe it's time for the repatriation of Jim Willie, and we could get you here educating our finest minds. I mean, Jim Willie and children,
I'm going to be
natural
winding
combo as far as I can see.
I'm going to be winding down, Chris. I'm tired. I tell you, I'm going to be going a little bit longer. I don't know, a couple of years, 3 or 4 years. I'm still going reasonably strong, but I'm getting damaged by dark, occult, evil forces. I'm being damaged, and I keep going. I keep going, and I get a lot of Christian prayer and aid, Christian aid. And they're wonderful. I need to call a certain lovely lady right now who's helped me a lot, because I'm dealing with something right now on two fronts. Two big costs. I don't want to go into the details. We need to get back to putting a 4-year requirement in high school for math. We dropped it down to 2 years. How do we compete with that, Chris? We don't compete. And Trump took some crap back in December when Elon Musk said we're going to be importing Indian talent from the nation of India. Now, I'm not against that. And you know, if they get, what is it, an H1, or I don't know what you call it, H1N, or I don't know the specifics of what they're called, but it's worker visa. There's a story behind that story, Chris, and that's sort of the the interesting little nuggets that I've got in my newsletter. We want India not to be a big science power, not to be a big AI power, not to be a big technology power. We want their best to come to the United States. And it's going to cause a revolution, and you're going to see it in the news. There's lots of jobs if you can become competent in engineering, and that requires mathematics. You know, I've got a colleague who's got a doctorate in electronic engineering. And, you know, when we talk shop, Chris, we talk mathematics. We talk about, you know, positive, definite, symmetric matrices. We talk about ill conditioning with their eigenvalues. That's math talk with an engineer. The engineers know mathematics. If they don't know mathematics, they don't go anywhere. The bell-shaped curve is called the error function in signal processing. And my colleague talks about it a lot. He showed me an article about, you know, the error function. I said, that's the normal curve. That's the normal function. He said, yeah, we call it the error function, ERF. Okay, you got to know mathematics. I did something very unusual, Chris, and just a quick side story. I got a 5 out of 5 on the Princeton Advanced Placement Calculus test after my senior year. So they gave me Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and Calculus 3 credit for my freshman year. And I said, I don't want credit for Calculus 3. I haven't taken that. And they said, well, you got a 5 on the Princeton test. I said, I don't give a crap. I haven't taken that. I want to take that course even though I have credit for it. Well, that's a first here at this university. I said, I don't care about your rules. I want to take Calculus 3. I want 3D calculus and, you know, acceleration curves and, you know, surfaces and integration over surfaces and polar coordinates. I haven't taken that. Okay, and that's what I took my first semester in college, a course that I had credit for. Okay, Matt, we need math love. We need love of math. We don't need love of corn flakes. No, what do you call it? Corn chips and potato chips. Okay, we got overweight kids who don't even have phys ed anymore. I loved dodgeball in 3rd and 4th, 5th grade. I loved it. Dodgeball. Let's go out and act like a bunch of idiots and throw a nice little ball at each other and try to avoid and catch it. You catch it, the other guy's out. It hits you, you're out. If you dodge it, you keep on going. That was a lot of fun. Well, the fat kids don't do that anymore, Chris. We need to get back to phys ed. We need to get back to science. We need to get back to math. That's what we need to do. Or else we're not going to be able to compete. We're going to be importing talent, and they're going to be living in the good neighborhoods. And the dumbasses who didn't take their math and science, you're going to be the workers who get pushed out because you haven't kept up, and you're going to be living in a crappy little apartment.
All right, Jim, I think we're clear on the dodgeball history and other relevant details there. Although, as we're just about coming up on our time, I mean, you've touched on gold and silver a little bit, but I wanted to give you the last couple of minutes. Obviously, we've had the spreads, the EFP spreads surge. We've seen lots of signs of stress. We have the Bank of England saying it takes 4 to 8 weeks to give you your metal. Then they send this guy Dave Ramsden out there that I don't know how many people's concerns he settled down, but anything gold and silver that you would like to share here before we finish up?
I got 47 reasons why gold's going to go up.
I know you were only in the 20s like a month or two ago, so you were busy over Christmas.
I actually put it together in a day and a half. And my colleague said, Jim, that's a good list. Okay, we got trade tariffs. We got London gold market, I believe, is in default. We got multiple leasing. They call it rehypothecation, so you don't know what the hell they're talking about. It's multiple leasing. You got a mad scramble to replace gold in the bullion banks because they did the multiple leasing. You got corrupt gold by the big banks, corrupt gold leasing. Leasing is going to be very big, multiple leasing. Do you remember in 2008, we heard about the mortgage electronic registry system, MERS? That was to prevent and to manage the titles for mortgages so that only one mortgage bond, only one mortgage bond had one secure stream of mortgage payments. Well, it was 2.5 average. We've got something like 10 or 15. You might have a better number than me. The leasing and a multiple basis is corrupt, and that's causing a scramble now. We got to search for U.S. government fraud. We have lost faith in the fiat currency system. They got to be backed. We got sovereign bonds in Europe and the United States that are considered trash. You got a mandatory audit of the gold reserves. You got a risk of exposing fake gold bars. I think they might find some fake gold bars and make a big deal about it in Fort Knox, but they won't say it's a majority. They might lie. We're going to have monetizing the asset side of the U.S. government. We got an acceleration of federal deficits. We got a systemic collapse where people are now seeking portable wealth. We have the wealthy now, Chris, and you know this better than me. You know the gold market better than me. We have the wealthy scrambling to get the gold because they're afraid that the banks have laced it out and they don't have their gold no more. This is going to get wild. It's not just the audit of Fort Knox that's caused this. It's the big bank insolvency. It's the rejection of the Treasury bill by the BRICS nations. They don't like the Treasury bill for trade payment. They want something real. They don't want toilet paper. I think President Trump needs a short education on what legitimate currency is all about and how he needs to stop weaponizing the dollar. He has not stopped the weaponization of the dollar. And it's sad. Okay, I got only down to about 8 or 10 of the reasons. I have 47 of them. Sign up for the newsletter.
I bet you could get
read
to
them all.
50 by the weekend.
Well, I could.
see it.
The trouble is that they really look like number 22 and they look like number 19. They overlap, Chris. No doubt they overlap. And Hollywood is saying got silver. I can see it right behind you. That's Hollywood. They're wondering, okay, we got a big silver deficit going on in industry, and this is not going to last much longer. I want to see an explosion in the gold market, a revaluation, and then silver follows in the next 2 or 3 weeks. There's no way. I'm very surprised that we're not above 40 right now in silver. They're just doubling down, then doubling down again on their corrupt naked shorts. You know this better than I do, but they're running out. The deliveries are out of this world. They're like 4 times multiple of what happened in January. That was the result of February. We had the first day delivery in March that set a record, and it's on pace for being multiples of what February was. This is exciting. We're about to break the gold and silver markets. We're about to break it. And you know, in Trump's tariff talk, he never said England will have a tariff. He never said that. So that's a false premise for the gold leaving London and coming to the New York sites and vaults. He never said he's going to slap a tariff on London gold. Never said that. You don't put a tariff on the British crown. This is going to be exciting. I am really jazzed at what's coming up in the next several months. And what else can I say? Go down the list here. I don't want to get, that's a bit too big. The silver industrial demand shortage is annual. Silver is the Achilles heel. We're going to have a silver cartel. I'm pretty sure about it. Okay, you just look at the war of words with Mexico. They're going to just block all exports of silver. They're going to make it a national reserve. They're going to make a national stockpile in silver. Mexico, China, and Russia, they're likely to make a silver cartel. Can you imagine The equivalent of OPEC for oil is going to be in silver. Whoa. Limit the supply of silver so we can drive it up past $50 to screw you Westerners who've been playing with the price games. Oh my gosh. Read all about it in the newsletter, golden-jackass.com. Going great guns, but there's economic damage, Chris. Some of my clients are hurting. I mean, one spouse has lost a job or they're underemployed because they refused the vaccine. Their costs are going through the roof. They got double and triple the fire insurance for their homes. Car insurance is much more expensive. If you're wondering why car insurance and home insurance is more expensive now, it's because for 10 years they didn't make any money on the treasury bonds. That's their nut. And that applies to pension firms. So, there's the website. In the yellow in the center is the subscribe button. If, there are a lot of people who don't want to read a 40-page report every month. And fine.
No, come on
Uh,
now. Even
well, there's some that they don't want it. They don't have time. They tell me that. They write me and say, Jim, I just made a donation of $100. It's because I watched several of your shows and I don't want to sign up for the newsletter. So they hit the donate button and they do it on a regular basis. I love that. That's great. There's a guy who just yesterday did $100 and he does it every single month. And that's not the cost of a newsletter. It's $200 for a year, $220. Okay, these are exciting times. I've got time now for consulting. I have 2 or 3 that I need to do in the next couple of days. They said, well, Jim, wait for your February newsletter to get done, and then we'll contact each other next week. Well, now it's next week. So I'm going to do that. I did one. It was a really interesting lady who had stories and wanted to know about XRP, but she had stories. Oh my gosh, Chris, I'll tell you offline. I won't tell you here. Just a beautiful lady when she was younger and did not get trapped. She did not get trapped in you know what. So go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, make a donation, do some consulting. And if you're wealthy, hit the sponsor button. I'm always grateful. I got a few people who regularly hit the sponsor button and it keeps me going. Chris, I tell you, the hand of the Lord Jesus, I tell you, without it, I'd be gone 4 years ago. I'd be gone. I got a number of people who helped me in a big way, including an extremely wealthy guy in Mexico who doesn't want me to mention his name, but how many of them are there? And I'm not talking about Carlos Slim. He helped me in a big way in 2019. I'm very grateful to him the rest of my life. I'm talking about nearly $100,000 grant. I hope this helps you, Jim, to get out of the bind. Anyway, it's a long story. We're going to see silver rule the roost in industry, while gold rules the roost in financial functions. Chris, I haven't been this excited in a long time, and it's like a rejuvenation that happened with the Trump election. And here's my little statement for all the people who are objecting to Trump. All traitors, please rise. Please rise to be counted. All traitors. If you don't want the reconstruction of the United States and you don't want legitimate money, and you're all in favor of financial fraud to divert money to the Swiss Uber lords and the Ukraine, please rise. We want you to be counted. And now it's, if you object to the Epstein files, please rise. You and the FBI. They just fired a New York office FBI guy named Dennehy. It looks like he worked out. It looks like he was, he went to the FBI gymnasium rather frequently. Well, he's gone because he stood up to be counted in objecting to releasing the Epstein file. This is going to go on. The people are losing patience with the Trump people, and I tell them, be patient, more patient. The Epstein files are going to take 6 months to get out. It's going to be drips and drabs. Right now they're talking about, the batch number 1, and it's going to be redacted. Okay, Chris, this is exciting. It's going to have a lot of parts to it. And we're going to have a reconstruction of the U.S. economy. And we need 5 or 6 different ingredients. I hit on some of them, and I talk about all of them in the newsletter. And this is a labor of love, Chris. Once I get going, I have trouble. I end up working once till close to midnight, and I usually go to bed at 10 p.m. I go to bed at 10 p.m., 10 to 6, 10 to 5:30. I catch the sunrise. It's 5:30 here.
Well, Jim, I sure appreciate that you're up there every day doing your thing. It was nice to hear what you mentioned of some of the people that been able to help you out along the way, and I hope not. Well, I hope you realize how loved you are by a lot of people on this planet. So I won't make you answer that, but there are a lot of people who care about you, and I'm glad helping in some ways to get you through. And I'll just mention one more time, as you said, that all of this is at golden-jackass.com, which is in the description field right there below. So you don't have to type the darn thing. Just go there and click it. And Jim, it sounds like your February newsletter, even we're already in March, but it sounds like it will be hotter than Costa Rica with Jim Willie on the beach. And that's quite hot as I hear it.
It's not hot here.
At least we did have one viewer asking if you were accosted by any women at your college football bar, but hopefully you're resting up in the off season.
That's college football, and I didn't even go there for the Ohio State championship, my alma mater, 1973. I went to a Rose Bowl in 1971, Chris. 1971. We played Stanford, Ohio State. I tell you, the most exciting sporting events I've ever been to in my life is Ohio State football at the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. It is an electric atmosphere.
Jim, we got to get wrapping up here, although I might add that if anybody wants to call and hear stories about Jim Willie's childhood or college football escapades, you can always hit that consulting button right there and talk with Jim yourself. He's a great man as he appears on TV. So, Jim, thank you, my friend. Appreciate everything you shared. And like you said, it is an exciting time, so we will make sure to catch up with you again soon. But
I hope
wrap up for now, and thank you as always.
All right, it's always great to be on with an extraordinarily handsome host.
Well, thank you, Jim. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, bye now.
Well, thank you as always to our fan favorite, Jim Willie. Hope you enjoyed that one at home, and sure appreciate you being here and watching the show with us tonight. And again, as he mentioned, you can find Jim's research at the golden-jackass.com. Then, of course, the link is in the description field below. And one last note for especially our gold and silver focused audience, that if you do love silver, just wanted to let you know that we have made our silver chopper Ben Bernanke figurines that are 26 ounces of 3/9 fine silver. And you can bring Ben Bernanke throwing $100 bills all around your kitchen. And just in case you've been wondering what that would look like, here is the silver chopper Ben Bernanke.
That is so cool.
Can you even see his tie flying in the wind while he throws out $100 bills? Look at him getting ready to throw that money out there.
I see that.
Because that's what it looks like when
That
Ben
even looks
Bernanke,
like his sorry ass.
Look at the size of the bald silvery head.
Yeah.
It's enormous. Back propeller spin too.
How many ounces is that?
That's 26 ounces of 3/9 fine silver, homie. As you can see here, some of the key features with your silver chopper Ben figurine, you can really get the control panel. Look, there's a whole dashboard for Ben to fly. He wants to fly onto your desk and throw $100
here,
bills
Ben.
out. Look at the precision.
I see that.
Crazy old bastard.
He's got 2 sets of spinnable propellers
This
built.
thing is great.
Dude, you could fly that thing.
Wow. I could.
Look how happy he is. I think he's actually going to get out there and throw the $100 bills. Jerome, no!
There'll be $1,000 bills by then.
I got this.
I like it.
Get the history before it's made. Just click the link below to get your silver chopper Ben now. So anyway, that is our creation here, the Silver Chopper Ben. Link if you'd like to find out a little bit more about that and how you can get your own Silver Chopper Ben, as well as a free complimentary #GotSilver coffee mug. Well, the link to that in the description field below. And to find one of the greatest silver gifts I think you might find anywhere, maybe I'm biased, but click on that link below to get your Silver Chopper Ben today. and go out there, enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks so much for being here, and we will see you again tomorrow.